kind of wait for, guys to clear up and come meet us over there. We go back upstairs, knock on the door again. And instead of opening the door this time, we just hear, "Who is it?" It's like, "Hey, West Fargo police, just open the door, Brian." Knock again or whatever. And then I can just kind of hear the female going like, "Please don't do it. Please don't do it." So I was like, "Oh shit." And then we hear like the lock unlatch. So I go to start to at least unholster my gun, because I don't know what he's about to open the door to us. And he's got a bat, swung over his shoulder, and like kind of backs up. And so I, draw down on him, tell him to drop the bat. And then, I was like, it's an apartment complex, so there's a hallway. And he ducks off with the bat and barricades himself in the bathroom. Like, okay, well, technically he just, threatened assault on a police officer. He's got full extradition felony warrants, and now he's barricaded. Dog bite all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, turned to my sergeant at the time, and I was like, "See if he'll come out peacefully, but I'm going to get Brutus down 3 flights of stairs." So, yeah, we'll run down and grab him or whatever. And there was no question of drive with Brutus. He had a bark that you could hear a block away or whatever. And so, I'm making my announcements to the guy. I say, "We're going to kick that door in, and the dog's coming." And the guy's taking the baseball bat and like bashing the door. So it's even making Brutus even more pissed off. It's like, I don't even have to do anything here besides just let go of this leash once our officers can get this door kicked open. So yeah, they get it kicked open, and, I send Brutus in, it's another left hand turn into the bathroom. And I just see,
Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brand's Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my 2 counterparts, Dion 2 Cup Larry and Cody Big Meat Mauk.
Yeah, no cups, Larry.
I keep my cups hidden.
Yeah. You're hiding your cups now?
I'm a concealed cups guy.
Concealed
nice.
cups.
Yep.
Right.
All right. And today we have another special guest on. This is West Fargo K-9 police officer, recently promoted to sergeant now. I'd like to say a pretty good friend of mine. He's worked with us in the past at H&I Nutrition under Ill Eagle Culture Brands. Brock Ackerman, welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, it's an honor. So, what's life been like for you lately, man? You got 2 kids right now.
I got 2 kids, and then we're adding a 4th dog here very shortly. So
4 dogs.
Yep. So we brought him home December 20th, and he's been at my house ever since.
Okay.
Is it an adopted dog or?
No, he's gonna be like our 4th patrol dog. We bought him from K-9 Defense out in Phoenix, Arizona.
So they're not puppies, and they're trained already, kind of.
No, this dog's pretty green.
Okay, so you said you're bringing on a 4th dog, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're staying with you
for right now. I'm working him up. He's green. We just put out what we call administrative announcement throughout the PD to select a 4th handler.
Gotcha.
Nice. That's awesome.
Your main dog is the one that patrols with you.
Yep.
And then you have like 2 other personal dogs.
No, I just have one other personal dog, which is my wife's.
Okay.
That's a mini golden doodle named Norman.
All right.
That goes well with the other.
Actually, if anything, Norman's the problem.
Yeah.
Jazz doesn't care about other people, dogs, or whatever. But if Norman is around Isola, then Norman thinks he's a German Shepherd all of a sudden.
That's awesome.
So
That's funny.
So how does your 2 dogs, they get along?
yeah,
Like,
for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Q is going to be our 4th dog. Him and Jazz are pretty cordial with each other. I don't.
What's the name of your police dog?
Jazz.
Jazz. Okay.
Yeah. But then Q is going to be our dog number 4.
Okay.
So I mean, they have to walk by each other's crates and stuff like that, and neither of them are showing teeth and trying to claw through each other. So that's been nice. But like I said, Q's just a lot of puppy left in him yet. So he's just got some maturing to do.
What age do you get him at? Like Q, when did you get him? How old was he?
Q was 20 months. When I got Jazz was 15 months. It kind of ranges depending, where their skill set is at, their maturity level. And then, if it's genetics that we just straight up can't pass on.
They're both Germans.
No, Jazz is a Belgian Malinois.
Belgian?
Yep. And then, Q is a
German?
German Shepherd. Yeah, sorry.
Why? So is there a difference? Well, there's a difference, but what is the main, why do they go back and forth between Belgian and German?
Well, intelligence-wise, they're both very comparable. Athletically, German Shepherds and Dutch Shepherds are. Did I say German Shepherds? I mean Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherds are typically more athletic.
Right.
Granted, I've seen some very athletic Germans. Shepherds. But
I've always seen the videos of the Belgians climbing up the wall, basically.
Yeah, they're nuts.
Yeah. So then also the difference there too is bite force. Typically, German Shepherds have a bigger head, so they produce more bite force. Where I got lucky with Jazz because he's big, muscular, and he's got a big head, so he bites really hard too.
Nice.
I kind of got everything into one there, and then
he's a Belgian.
Belgian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say he's leaner or skinnier, I guess, compared to the German Shepherds?
He's very lean. He kind of reminds me of one of those super muscular pit bulls you see online.
Okay.
He's got
nice.
He jumps up onto something. His back, shoulders, and
so he looks intimidating.
Just,
too.
He's ripped out.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So when they are looking for dogs, is there a rhyme or reason between a Belgian and a German when they're picking?
No, we just kind of, how we do it is whatever dog tests the best. So
sure.
if you bring in a Shepherd, Malinois, and a Dutch Shepherd, we don't have a preference
Sure.
I'd much rather have the Malinois without
Gotcha.
seeing the Shepherd or the Dutchie, or vice versa. And there are some agencies and handlers that want German Shepherds and only German Shepherds.
Oh,
Just because typically German Shepherds are also a little more
chill,
social.
Yeah.
So they're ones that you can bring in and people will pet or whatever. Where nobody's petting Jazz.
I've heard they're more temperamental.
Yeah,
in the sense,
he's a very serious dog. He doesn't even really like getting affection.
he's a
from
working
me.
dog.
Yeah, he only wants affection on his terms. So if I want to open up my back squad car door and give him a pet or whatever, he'll basically get the fuck off me.
I'm working.
He turns his head away. He's
Watch
"Get
out,
off
softy.
me." Yeah.
That's
so
cool, man.
where did they send him to train? Are you allowed to say that or no?
No, I can. We're doing a lot of the training in house now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So our last dog that we just got last year, Vito, we ended up, doing most of the narcotic work, most of the bite work. He had a little bit of bite work foundation in him, but in house we kind of solidified all that stuff.
And so the commands, this might be a dumb question. Do you do it in German, or is that mostly?
It kind of depends where the dog comes from.
Okay.
So my first two dogs were both German commands. Jazz came from Holland, so he's in Dutch or Czech.
Oh, really?
Or a little, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had to learn kind of a whole new, not really even learning a whole new language, but
Commands.
The commands.
all
So
new
those
commands
probably
were-
can't sound as scary.
Right. Yeah. So I kept when I first got Jazz, I kept saying plots, trying to get him to lay down. I'm like, plots. And then I was like, but off. Ass right to
interesting.
belly right to the ground. I was like, okay. So I got to learn. I had to learn all these.
It's funny too because they always say that dogs don't actually understand you. It's the intention, but clearly they understand.
Yep. And then I've screwed up a little bit too because Q, the German Shepherd, came from Germany, so his are all back in German. So I've been working both of the dogs.
Oh, that's got to get confusing.
That's got to be.
So
Yeah,
you just got a bunch of immigrant dogs living with you.
Housing illegals here.
I got their papers.
Yeah.
All right,
That's cool.
Did you have to get some sort of special training to become a K-9 officer? So you said you have to pick the next one, or they pick the next one.
Yep.
How does that go about? Do you get selected and then you go to a training, or?
So yeah, when I first got into this, because I'll be going on 5 or 6 years now, with being a canine handler, and so when I first applied, and got selected, I went to Humboldt, Iowa, and worked with North Iowa K-9 for a month, with my first dog, Brutus. And then came home and then obviously continued working him there. He ended up getting some medical issues where he had started having some seizures in the back of my squad car and stuff like that.
Oh.
And then his dope work kind of went to hell, and then he started coming off the bite and training.
That was Brutus?
Brutus.
Okay,
yeah.
that's the one I've met.
Yeah.
So what happened with him?
He's like the first time I noticed it was my buddy and I had just gotten done like doing it on a domestic at like 4 a.m. or whatever. And, we're, how you see cops pull up next to each other or whatever, just kind of sitting there talking. And then it sounded like Brutus was just like, scratching his ear or whatever in the back of the squad. Well, then it got to be like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. And finally, I'm just like, would you knock it off back there? And like, I turn on the light and like look back there and I can't see him. So I get out of my car, I open the door, and he's like tucked in the opposite corner. And like, I'm trying to like call him to me, and he can't move.
Dang.
So then I go around, open up the other door, and he kind of like just like trust falls back to me. So like I like catch him, like lay him down, and he's trying to get up, but his back legs don't work. And finally, he snapped out of it a little bit. But that was the first time, and we're like, okay, we'll obviously keep an eye on it. And then I was off for a few days, and a couple times when I went out to like let him out to go to the bathroom or whatever, he'd come stumbling out of the crate like he was drunk. Meaning thinking he must have just had one or is coming off of one. So and then
at that point you already identified that they were seizures that he was having though, or?
Well, I mean, I'm not a vet, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
Like that when I described it to my vet, she kind of confirmed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like it sucked because I worked really, really hard with that dog. Because that dog did not like searching for dope. All he wanted to do was bite people. So like he was a good bite dog.
Yeah.
Put him in a lot of situations and he'd do well. But when it came to like dope work, which is about 90 to 95% of what we do, half the time I couldn't get him to search a vehicle. So I worked really, really hard with him to get him to where he was very good. Yeah. And then he goes and starts having the seizures and stuff like that. So it was like, it's not all that work wasted because I learned a lot from that dog and with working that dog. And I think that by having him as my first dog has kind of brought me to where I am right now with like my knowledge of dogs.
Yeah.
Did you get really attached?
Not too, I mean, yeah, like what happened is we ended up, fast forwarding a little bit. Cause like when we decided that it was just time for him to go, we found a retired handler down in like Missouri that was willing to take him, and he was just gonna run on a farm for the rest of his days and have fun or whatever, right? And all of a sudden I get a call one morning at like 7:15 in the morning. The guy's in my driveway as I'm loading up my son to get ready to take him to daycare. So I was like, well, shit. Ooh. So I was basically go grab Brutus, throw him in the back of this guy's car, and the guy just drove away.
Oh, so it was just really unexpected, like timing wise.
Yeah. So like I didn't really have like a time to really like say goodbye, because like I thought it was gonna be they're like, oh, I'll be here, probably on like the 7th, and then he like shows up the 4th or something, you know what I mean? So I just remember on the way to daycare, I was just like, damn, I'm never gonna see Brutus again. I didn't even get like a real goodbye.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So your other dog, Jazz, and you guys are with each other all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like 24/7.
Yeah. That's my homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's that going with you guys?
Really good. He's a fantastic dog. We kind of already talked about very serious, but I mean, he's stable headed. So like if I brought him in here, he would knock everything in here down, but he wouldn't come and like, just like, rip it in your guys' arms off either,
That's funny.
Bull in a china shop, but, genetically very, very good. Beautiful dog. I don't know if probably should have sent you some pictures or videos of stuff.
You still can. I can pull them up if you want. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I made a little silly reel on Instagram once.
Nice.
Just because I was bored one night. I just like send it to.
Yeah. While you're setting those up, I do have something I want to bring up that I found on you that I was not aware of, and I thought was pretty damn cool. So I'm gonna read a little snippet here. So it says officers David Todd and Brock Ackerman earned the award for their heroic actions during a February fire. The West Fargo Police Department officers became the department's first ever Medal of Valor recipients. During the West Fargo Police Department's annual awards banquet, April 9, 2019, patrol officers David Todd and Brock Ackerman became the first officers in the history of the department to receive the Medal of Valor, which is awarded to sworn officers who distinguish themselves by an act above and beyond the call of duty involving substantial risk to their life. Todd and Ackerman were given the award for their heroic actions responding to a fire. Upon arrival to an apartment fire in the early morning hours of February 28, 2019, Todd was immediately notified by neighbors that someone had been screaming in the apartment that was on fire with a large amount of smoke. Todd felt the door handle of the apartment, and noticing the handle was not hot and not seeing any visible flames, he began kicking the door in to gain entry to the unit. Once the door was open, heavy smoke billowed from inside of the apartment. Todd yelled to Ackerman that there may be someone inside. Without any hesitation and putting both of their lives at risk, officers Todd and Ackerman entered the apartment. Both officers called out to the resident inside and did not receive a response. Due to the lack of visibility with the smoke, both officers crawled approximately 15 feet into the apartment, located the individual, and pulled him out. At the door, Officer Matthew Oldham assisted in getting them out of the apartment. The victim was carried to a safe location, and CPR was performed at that point. Short part of the article, but I had no idea, and that I thought that was pretty dope, so I wanted to make sure we bring that up. So, I mean, the Medal of Valor, first of all, is similar to what, like a Medal of Honor in the military?
Probably.
Something along
Yeah,
the.
I don't.
But you were the first two in this department's history to ever be rewarded with that, right? So that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that I was even going to be getting any sort of award.
Right. Well, you were absent from it, from what I read too.
Yeah,
you were in training.
I was in training with
Yeah.
with Brutus. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when Chief called and told me about that or whatever, and I really, like I said, I didn't think I was going to be getting any awards because I got a lot of good boys, but don't you ever fucking do that shit again.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I
they
don't
really
want
wanted
to say stupid because what we were trying to do was obviously
save somebody.
and save somebody. Yeah,
But they really wanted you to wait for the fire department. Was that the whole point?
yeah, because I don't know what the term they call it. I don't know if it's called backdraft or something like that, where it's if
a good movie.
there's a what's that?
It's a good movie.
Is it okay? I don't know if that's even what it's.
It is a good
called.
movie, yeah.
Okay, but
No, I'm just saying that's exactly what it is. Like you open up the door and then something happens where you get all that.
it's like it pressurizes
Pressure.
inside or whatever. Where it could
Yep.
blow out. So that was I think their biggest thing was that could have happened to
Sure,
us, and that
sure.
let's not make a habit of it. But
Yep.
there's also not many times where officers come rolling up on a burning building either. And
So was the person in there passed out or?
I'm not really sure what happened with him. I think what they were saying was that he passed out with a cigarette in his hand, laying in bed, and that's how it started.
Oh,
My grandma used to do that all the time. She would pass out with cigarettes in her mouth, in her hand. I was like, dude,
Yeah, that's scary.
some dumb stuff.
Well, that's cool, man. Congratulations to that. I had no idea that even happened, and we were working together at the time, so you didn't even
Yeah,
brag
but
about it.
I try and stay decently humble.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I'm arrogant about stupid things.
yeah.
All right, well, let's check out this video. Let's see what.
So it was my first time ever making any sort of reel or anything. So
Okay, so
Don't-
this
don't
is
judge you.
I was gonna say, first off, you're starting off with just the greatest intro: a cigar and a puppy in the back. That's the way to go.
what I was trying
That's
to
right.
show is that he can be chill, and then it moves into him being
Okay.
ultra aggressive.
Let's check this out. That don't look too chill. He looked
That's
like he was
terrifying.
warning.
Oh,
Oh wow. Oh, that's so badass.
Oh. I wouldn't want to get bit right there. That seems like a bad spot.
Yeah, the elbow's no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool, man.
This is just like the hardest part of your body too. It's like even with the protection on, I feel like that's not the spot.
Oh yeah, because it'll get your funny bone every single time. And yeah,
I love watching videos of dogs doing their jobs and like training in. But so, have you ever had to be bitten by a canine? Then, not on your bare skin, but with the padding.
Oh, that decoy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm one of the original decoys.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
How's that feel?
I got quite a few scars.
Even with the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
We have one dog, Toshi, which came from the same place that Jazz came from. And I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see all kinds of stuff on there.
There's that big.
Oh, that scar there? Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah, that was-
How
see
did
it.
how?
It's like 3 inches.
He was like a 105-pound Dutch Shepherd, and we decided to get cute one day, and we sent him from the top flight of the steps, jumped down right on me, and so I caught him in my left bicep, and I mean he hit me with such force, like the tooth just went right in.
No kidding.
Yeah, and like I was pretty new into the decoying at that time, so I didn't want to look like a pussy, so I just like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Took it off, and luckily we were at the fire station, so when we took it off, like you could see like the bruising and obviously the open wound or whatever. So fire department came and patched me up a little bit.
Man, that's crazy. So how high up does the pad go? Did it go all the way up there?
So
like,
we wear a full bodysuit.
okay.
Because I mean, how we work our dogs is to train them to take the closest possible, whatever the guy gives you, essentially, right? Like on the street, like could be laying under a bed, could be a foot, could be the head. If that's what the dog is going to take, or that's what the dog has the opportunity to take, that's what he's going to take.
Got it.
And then I mean, it's also just safest too. Like, you know, we work leg bites, we work the arm bites, all that kind of stuff. You know, if all of a sudden we want to send a dog on a full send and I'm wearing nothing but a coat, but all of a sudden he wants to decide to see what my calf tastes like.
Yeah.
I'd rather be wearing the pants than
Yeah.
nothing at all, you know?
I always like when I ever see that when they're like running away and then they send the dog after him. I always get terrified that they're going to bite him in the hand because they never have gloves on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we never wear gloves, we never wear helmets. And a lot of newer decoys will like slip their hands into the sleeves. Like, no, we want the dogs to be able to see the skin moving, or you know, their hand moving or whatever, because we're teaching them that they want to get to the person and not just the suit.
Okay.
So if a dog, like if it's like a smaller Malinois, right? You know, harder, it might have a full mouth, but it might be a little bit harder with all that suit to, you know, get the human. We literally will push their head in until they have, even if it's just a little bit of our biceps in it or whatever, just as long as they're feeling the human, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Because especially with where we live here, you know, we send somebody into a car or whatever, they're wearing a big, heavy Carhartt jacket.
Yeah.
You know, if we teach the dog that they can just grab jacket and that's okay, shithead's just going to shed the jacket, take off.
Yep.
So when they're running away, do you guys train them to take the arm, or is that instinct?
Again, that's one of those where you take, or the dog's just going to take what he wants. I mean, we try and flag it in training to be the left tricep, but I mean, I've had dogs go right for the center of the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've caught a dog where he came to my right shoulder when I was out here trying to give him my left.
Wow.
We work a lot of different dogs from a bunch of different agencies because, you know, we host the NAPWADA certification here every year in September. You know, that's 20 to 25 dogs, and me and our chief of police, Pete Nielsen, are the two guys that do it.
Wow.
Just because some of the exercises you need to make sure that you have a good decoy, or a lot of dogs are going to fail. So, because you need to have like a verbal out and a recall and all that stuff. And if you have a decoy that can't stand still, the dog is never going to verbal out, and it's never going to recall.
Is it just instinct for them to grab and like essentially body slam people, or is that something you have to train them to do? Because I notice like when they run and jump on, they seem to momentum whip them around and get them to the ground.
I say that's probably a genetic thing, but it's also just their momentum carrying them.
Yeah.
So like on the one there with Jazz, that was one of our newer decoys. I tried teaching him step around and swing your arms, but lost his footing there or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously not what we want to have our decoy do. Because I don't want to have him fall and crack their head open on the pavement.
Right.
But got to introduce them somehow, right?
Shit happens.
Yep. Yeah. But no, I'd say most of it is like momentum, just kind of carrying through, and a good decoy will catch them, carrying them through, get all 4 feet on the ground and work them that way. If that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain without like getting up and showing you. You know what I mean?
So a couple of years ago, you guys you had one top dog, I think it was called.
No, that was Fargo.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yep.
But that's pretty freaking cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Like here in Fargo, I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah,
show.
I remember that now that you mention it. Yeah.
But is he still around, that dog?
That dog, no, that dog passed away.
Oh,
I don't think he was even all that too long ago. But the handler is now in Clay County.
oh wow.
Yep. I don't know if he's handling or not though.
How long? I mean, obviously, you're not too far on, but how long are these dogs like working for? I guess on average, would you say?
So each agency is going to be a little bit different. We kind of decided with our agency that we're going to retire the dog at 9 years old, just so that gives them a little bit of time to enjoy retirement life and
Maybe
just
reacclimate
kinda
to
be a
civilian
dog.
life.
Well, at that point, I don't know if there is any
Reacclimating, yeah.
but it's just where he doesn't need to get his ass beat all the time. He put in his, we'll say roughly 7 years. Yeah. If say we get him at 2 years, he puts in his time. He deserves some time to chill out, chew on all the balls that he wants to chew on, have all the toys, whatever. So, and then the way we use these dogs, we're asking them to do things that we don't ask regular house dogs to do. So it's a lot of wear and tear on their body.
Oh, for sure.
So their life expectancy in the first place just isn't as high as, like I said, your house dog.
See, all those house dogs, you guys don't know how good you have it, I swear. Right. I always feel the same for Charlie. I'm like, God, he deserves all the toys to chew on right now.
I try and tell Norman. I said, you better shape up, boy. You're going to be out there with Jazz.
Yeah.
I got 2 Shih Tzus, and they got into a fight, and I tried to break them up, and I got bit by one of them. I would not want to get bit by one of those dogs, bro. Like, that shit hurt so bad and pissed me off so much, bro. Like, I wanted to strangle these little rat dogs, man, because they were just going at it, bro. And I tried to break them up, and he just turned around and just grabbed my hand. I got a scar right there on my thumb. On both sides, he got me. And man, I was
crazy.
It hurt so bad though. I was like, this little damn dog just bit down on me so hard, man. I was gonna kill him.
Yeah. I was working, and I work on ladders sometimes here. So I was working, and this lady, she's like, I got to bring my dog out. It was the neighbor of the lady's house that I was at. And I said, okay. And she said, it's actually a Malinois, so just be careful. And she didn't have a very tall fence. And I was like, that dog can definitely jump this fence. So like, you're gonna be good, right? Like everything's gonna be okay. And she was like, you'll be fine, just don't come over here and you'll be just fine. I said, I'm gonna be up on this ladder the whole time that dog's outside, so that's all right with me. Go ahead.
Little do you know they can climb up a ladder, no problem.
But it's not a dog I'd want to get even close.
Every time
to
I meet
by.
someone that has one of them as a regular house dog, I'm like, I'm not coming to your house. I'll chill, bro. I don't trust it.
They are a very serious breed.
Yeah, I know it.
They're not one. If you're thinking about getting a Belgian Malinois to hang around the house, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
They need a job, or they're super destructive.
Yeah.
They'll get aggressive when you don't want them to get aggressive.
Yeah.
And they can be bad news unless they have a job.
Little
That's
fur
crazy.
missiles. How are they around the kids?
Jazz is actually really good. I don't leave him alone with my kids, but like, Decker likes to come out and like help me feed Jazz or whatever. So, scoop the food in and open the crate, and Decker will hand in his food and say, enjoy your dinner, Jazz. So,
That's cool.
and Jazz is just excited to eat.
What's kind of the protocol when going home? Obviously, you've got multiple dogs, so they're not house dogs. They don't just roam free in your house, or one of them doesn't roam free in your house other than your wife's dog.
Yeah. So with both Jazz and Q right now, I got, we just built a house last year, so like we made sure that I got a heater in there and then a hole for an air conditioner. So it's air conditioned in the summer, it's heated in the winter. So they're both fine in there. I got Jazz an oversized crate, and then right outside my back service doors, a run for him to hang out, run, and do his business here in the wintertime.
And he could just go out whenever, or
no, I have to go out and let
okay.
him. Yeah.
All right.
Because it's the same thing. It's only a 6 foot high fence, so like I gotta
keep an eye on him.
Keep tabs on him.
He's gonna jump over.
Yeah,
that's crazy. What are some of the calls that you've been on? Have you been on any calls like with Jazz or Brutus, or you had to actually send them in?
Yeah. So none of my dogs have any street bites, but I don't even remember how many apprehensions I have. I know Jazz has like 12 or 13 right now, and I got him in March 2023.
That's some pretty good.
What does that
action.
mean?
Yeah. So apprehensions is if,
you say you're going to send the dog?
Pretty much, or like just by me showing up and I pull the dog out, and then they're like,
they fold.
I fold. I'm done.
It's a good choice.
I'll get out of the car. I'll come out of the house, whatever. Yeah.
That's pretty badass, using your dog as a threat.
Yeah.
How does that work? Do they just hear them?
So like one of the last ones, I was still on light duty for my shoulder replacement, and I mean I was probably good to go. Like I got the okay from the doctor to like train with them or whatever, but we had a call. Would have been probably like November, so like there was a little bit of snow on the ground or whatever. Neighbor called in on this abandoned house or whatever, or like the owner was at like Bethany Homes or whatever, right? And neighbor saw that there was tracks going into the house, but no tracks coming out of the house. So the officers there like made contact with the owner. He said, "Yeah, nobody's supposed to be in that house. Nobody's welcome to be there, whatever." And I'm in investigations at the time, and I hear this come over the radio. I'm like, I gotta go, because I had Jazz with me. I'd drive my squad car anyways, because I'd train obedience or whatever with him. But anyway, so I go right to my chief. I call Pete. I'm like, "Yo, I gotta go," and he's like, "You got your vest?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Go." I was like, "Sweet." So I make my way up there, and all the patrol officers did a really good job setting up a perimeter, getting eyes on the house or whatever. I said, screw it. I'm going to pull right up to the front door. So I did. I go to get his bite harness on, and then all of a sudden in the backyard, I hear, "Get on the ground, get on the ground." So she must have seen the K-9 on the side of my car, and I was like, I'm making a break for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Took off.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Like,
so it ran right into our perimeter.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
See, that's the nice thing. People are smart enough to not get bit by a dog like that. Like they're like,
I'm waiting for someone to be dumb enough too.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta be really dumb, because that's just silly. Like you're not recovering from that easily. Like they're gonna that's gonna be a harsh bite.
For sure.
And
you're not gonna get away.
Yeah, you're not getting away.
No. There's another funny one too. We're dealing with a suspect. He's honestly, Johnny, was probably your size outside of the main avenue Casey's in West Fargo. And, I don't even remember what he was called in for, but we knew who he was. We knew he had a lot of history with law enforcement and some, warrants or whatever. So, run him or whatever. And finds out that he's got several warrants, history of fighting with law enforcement. And like, we were super busy. It was like a Friday or Saturday night. It was like just me and another female officer there, which, not saying anything bad about her, but it's me, her versus guy your size. I don't like my odds. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to make up something. So how I had parked was like kind of directly downrange. So like my headlights were looking like right at us, right? And so I told him like, "Look, you got warrants, you're under arrest." I'm like, "And if you even try and fuck with me," I turned my flashlight into my windshield of my squad car. I said, "You're gonna meet my dog." And like you could just see my dog. I don't even remember which dog I had at the time, but I just see just his eyes glowing, ears up, and he's just like, ah. So he turns around, puts his hands behind his back, and I was like, oh man, he called my bluff, because it was right between, like, if I would have had to door pop him, like it was right between us was the enter and exit of the gas station, where it's like would have been pretty risky flipping of the coin.
That's crazy. I think of like Charlie, and I'm like, God, if only you were stronger, you'd be a great dog, like for biting people, because he looks at me like that when we play tug of war. He's like, dude, don't touch me, just grab this and pull it. That's it. I'm like, okay. So it's crazy, but he's not a German Shepherd or a Malinois. Yeah. He's just a little rat dog. So
that's like the dog that bit me, though.
Yeah,
little rat dog. In fact, he's the way he is. Like, he's really temperamental and full of anxiety, because Cody's dog bit his eyeball out.
What?
Yeah. Let me tell the story.
Go for it.
With that being said, Cody's dog and my dog, they got along just fine. Yeah. They were in the room together the other day.
Although your dog barked a lot around Cody's dog, which I never
does
hear.
that. No, he does that when we're out now, because he doesn't like when people walk up to me or walk up to him either. Not that he's mean, but he's like, I just want you to pet me and don't touch my dad, pretty much. So
we're up at John's shop, and we're watching the Conor McGregor fight. We're all up there, a bunch of people. And I thought it would have been cool to bring Jax with me. So Jax is roughly 83 pounds, American Staffordshire. So very big dog.
He looks like he's 120. Like he's a thick dude.
He's the dog version of Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bring him up there, and unbeknownst to me, John had his two little yippies down there, or with them.
And they were puppies still at this point.
They're little, yeah. They're little dogs. And as soon as we got in there, these dogs went nuts. And they were like on attack mode.
Little dogs that are always the problem.
Constantly
really
barking, right? They were
Just
barking.
Yap.
And I was so nervous. Like, I was like starting to sweat, because I know how this is going to go, right? So I try to keep Jax busy. So I was grabbing stuff and throwing it, trying to get him to go play fetch and whatnot. So I was like chasing him around, but everywhere Jax went, these two little dogs were running after him, biting his ankles, like legit biting his ankles. And one time he had enough, and he turned around and went, and it was a warning shot.
Yeah, I think he tried to like almost headbutt him, like, get off me, and he just got him.
So it hooked one of their eyeballs. Well, they're already bulgy, they already got protruding eyeballs, and it like hooked one of his eyes, and like it like popped out. It didn't like fully pop out, but it just like extra bulging.
It popped out of socket and was just like on the outside. It was creepy, disgusting, bro.
So Kayla had to bring him into the emergency vet, and they had to push it back in and put it back into the socket. Now it's got anxiety.
Yeah, I think they
it's got anxiety.
Yeah, they stitched it closed.
Yep, for 2 weeks.
And he had like an eye patch and everything on it, and it healed perfectly fine. But ever since then, he's never been the same, bro. He hates every dog that comes around. Like, he's always barking at the door. He's just full of. We give him. I think he takes Ritalin or something.
I was gonna say, Kayla and I were talking about it. She said he takes so much anxiety medication and stuff.
He's a spaz, bro. That's crazy. And every time he does it, I blame Cody's dog. I'm like, man, if it wasn't for Jax, I swear.
And I was like, well, they're biting his ankles. He's like, they're ankle biters. What do you expect?
It's all they could reach.
Yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned from that one. But
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, something so, and that's not even really minor, but like something so minor can affect a dog and the whole trajectory of his life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like one of our patrol dogs absolutely hates dogs. Like, I mean, it will not work if there is another dog in the area. So like, we're trying to work through that or whatever. But it's like, obviously we got him when he was like 2 years old, but it's like, what happened to you as a puppy?
Yeah.
Like, did you get your ass kicked, or did you get in a really bad fight with one of your siblings to where all of a sudden it's like, all dogs hate you?
So is the breeder supposed to disclose that?
The dog game is a total cutthroat business. Yes. So like, I mean, and I've lost on it before too, because I was, but I'll get to that. But yeah, so like we'll say like, oh, we want to see X, Y, and Z. And so then, a week later they'll send us videos of that dog doing X, Y, Z, right?
Okay.
Just whatever example you want to see, right? But like then you're like, okay, great, he'll do those things. We'll take it. Well, then you get the dog and say it doesn't do A, B, or C.
Oh.
And it won't do A, B, or C.
Yep.
It's like and they're like, well, you said this is what you wanted to see, so that's what we got it to do.
So it's shady.
Yeah, and then it's like, dog's yours.
I was gonna say, and those are like the most formative years for the dog, like to actually learn the thing and then they perfect it. So it's like, that's tough.
Yeah. So like, for example, when I retired Brutus, I was going to take a female German Shepherd. And the guy had sent us a bunch of videos. She looked really, really good in those videos, and again, I mean, yeah, it was like, several years ago now, but like, I thought I knew enough,
Yep.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go down, I'll take a look at her, test her, which I didn't know what the hell I was testing.
This happens in the NFL too a lot.
Yeah.
Game tape, man.
Yeah, so I meet this guy in a park in like some place in South Dakota. I don't even remember where I went, but threw a few things or whatever, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll take her. Well, then it was when one of our new handlers at the time was going through training in Iowa, so I was going to drop off this female dog with that officer to bring back to Iowa. Met him in like Sioux Falls or whatever, right? So then, a week later or whatever, our chief goes down there to see how training is going. They put that dog on the bite table that you kind of saw in my little reel there, and the dog wouldn't bite.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm. So what we figured out, what happened was that dog had probably only bit one person in the bite suit her entire life. So
And they got that on film.
Yes. So she had just worked with that one guy her entire life, and when there was a new guy in the suit, she completely shut down.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's just crazy how dogs think.
Yep. And then I was like, oh, tough shit, it's your dog.
Yeah. I don't want to bite anyone else. I just want to bite that guy, Like that's it. We had a connection.
You're right.
But like we have to be careful about that within our program too, because Pete and I have been the two decoys for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So when I went under the knife for my shoulder replacement, we brought on 2 more decoys. So like we're still working them up and training them or whatever, but because like I can't keep taking all the bites for the next however many years I'm going to be doing this,
Yeah.
Because I mean, Pete's the chief now; he's not coming.
Is that how your shoulder got messed up? Was from
No,
the work?
it was from football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I blew it out once in high school playing football, and then in college playing football, and then probably all of the bite work on top of
Sure.
lifting weight. I probably had no business lifting, in your gym.
Yeah.
Over time, it's just a lot of wear and tear.
Sure.
So, yeah, I had severe arthritis in there, and it was like bone to bone. It's like my arm would like get stuck in places. Like sleeping was hard, and yeah, finally I went home and I was like, I got to get this shoulder taken care of. And so, a month after my daughter was born, I went under. Got it taken care of.
That's nice because then you can. I told my wife this because she's contemplating having a kid with me, and
With you,
hopefully,
that's great.
I said, hey, if you have it during this time, then I get busy at work, and then I won't have to take care of you. So that's kind of what you did too. You're like, oh, you just had the baby, but I gotta have surgery. Sorry,
I can't hold him. My
She's
shoulder.
like, she's like, could you make dinner? He's like, my shoulder, dude. I can't do it.
You'll feel guilty.
Yeah, I know.
Because I didn't think I would, but I did.
I get it for sure.
No, my wife was a rock star through that because
Awesome.
yeah, I was in a sling for like 6 weeks and literally couldn't move.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been good.
I bet you feel a lot better.
I can raise my hand.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to do this in like 10 years.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's it.
'Cause before it was like this.
What was the morale like going from the last administration to this one with policing?
So from like Otterness to Nielsen?
No, like presidents.
Oh,
wise.
presidents.
Yeah, you
guys
just
talk about
you
that
told
at
me
all?
that the department's pretty big right now, right? We were talking offline earlier, so they've got a really big force right now.
Yeah, we're fully staffed. I think we're at like 93 sworn, give or take a couple. But yeah, February or November 5th, 2024 was literally the happiest I'd ever seen anybody at the police department. I mean, that place, you would have thought it was Christmas. Like everybody was so happy.
That seems to be
It's
the
like,
consensus
"Good
every
morning,
time
good to
we
see
get
you."
someone on. Yeah.
I was gonna say, not even just in police, just everywhere. I feel like
I mean, the military, everything, like it's just been nuts.
Are you guys in that union? Which union are you guys in?
Police are not unionized.
Okay.
We got FOP or whatever, but I really don't know enough about all that. I just know that I participate. So like,
I just know that there was some sort of union that was in law enforcement that endorsed Trump, so that's why I didn't know if it was.
oh,
It's like the fraternal police order or something like that.
yeah. So that'd be the FOP,
Okay.
Fraternal Order of Police, but it's not a union.
Oh, sure.
Like Minnesota's union, but I've never worked in Minnesota. I don't know how all that works. But like the FOP is pretty much just like our legal counsel. So like, I make sure that I pay into it every month or every pay period to make sure that I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
So what does that entail? Like, what does it do for you?
So like if I were to get in a shooting, I'm going to call my FOP guy.
Oh.
Got it.
And then they're going to put me in touch with whoever I need to get in touch with. I mean, we have an attorney on retainer that I know that I
cover
would
you
definitely
for
call them
legal.
first.
Yep.
Yeah, but the FOP helps with all that kind of stuff.
I don't want this to turn political by any means, but I've been hearing a lot of rumors that there's a lot of ICE agents in our community right now, and particularly there's a rumor going around that, and it's the Mexican groups that are spreading this rumor that ICE agents have been going to Ellie Berger school and asking for identification of kids in school.
Bullshit.
That's what I thought. I mean, I'm like, dude, it would be all over the news if that was real. But like, I know people are making up narratives so that they can spin the whole poor us scenario in the Mexican culture right now, and I'm just not buying any of it.
Well, they get that right off of MSNBC.
Yeah, it's coming from the news. I know.
Yeah, they're going into school. They ain't doing that here.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah, there's a big rumor that Ellie Berger had them, and people are telling me because I'm Mexican, like, no, bro, you should really be mad. Like, you should jump on board with us because it's real. Like, there's Ellie Berger was doing it. They had ICE agents asking for citizenship papers to all the kids in school, and I'm just like, there's no way, bro. That would be all over social media and all over the news. Like, so we know someone who works there that works at our gym.
I was gonna say,
and so we contacted her, and she was just like, "What? No, that's not happening here." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still not mad then."
And that's right across the street from us.
Yeah,
Like,
that's nonsense. It's crazy. Just the things that politically that are happening in our world right now. It's nuts, man.
Have you guys been contacted by anybody from ICE that you know of?
I guess I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know what our day shift is dealing with right now. But as far as ICE agents being here and just kicking in hotel room doors and all that kind of stuff, that's just not happening.
Or they're hanging out at Walmart randomly snatching people up
Say
in
Walmart.
Dilworth and all that. Yeah, Walmart.
Walmart.
You haven't seen that meme?
No, I was
it's
trying
funny.
to get what you guys were saying. I was like, okay.
Like a Mexican dude's hiding behind the door, and the cops are talking to him on the other side, and they're asking him all these questions, like a Taylor Swift song and all this nonsense. He's getting the answers right, and they're like, "All right, one more thing before we go, man. Say Walmart." And he's like, "Huh?" They're like, "Say Walmart." He's like, "Okay." And they're like, "Come on, man." And he's just like, Walmart, and boom, they bust the door down on him. It's funny. I love humor.
Oh my god,
That
that's
is
funny.
good.
So back to the dog thing, man. I know you said that you've had a good couple dozen apprehension or 12 or 13 apprehensions. Do you get a lot of drug busts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
That's
I imagine that's
mainly
huge here.
what we do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say probably, like I said, 90 to 95% of what we do is narcotic stuff.
Yeah.
What's
the big thing here in our community as far as drugs go?
Meth and fentanyl.
Really?
Right now, yeah.
Fentanyl's big, huh?
Yeah.
So your dog is trained to find fentanyl?
It was actually his very first deployment and find.
That's awesome.
I don't even remember how many pills it was, but it was a handful of M30 pills stuffed underneath the passenger seat of a Dodge Avenger, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that so bad here? As far like fentanyl, you hear about bust all the time. Like it's crazy. Where is this stuff coming from?
The border.
Really?
A lot of it. China.
Yeah.
But we got I-94 and I-29 that come right through here, so we're a huge drug hub.
Yeah.
Our HPs are pulling lots of dope off the interstate.
Yeah, we're the gateway to the West.
Is it usually people that aren't from here, like out of state license?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's so much technology now where like, and we don't have it over in West Fargo, but I know a couple other agencies do, where like they can see where this license plate has been over the last 24, 48, 36 hours.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Which can build a lot of reasonable suspicion into the probable cause.
Yeah.
To get into that vehicle.
So right when they look up that license plate, that's just boom, then they can see. That's awesome.
Or a lot of these guys are trafficking their drugs with rental cars.
Yeah.
So, ask for the rental agreement, call the rental company. Hey, when was this vehicle rented? When is it due back? And then, you can find out a lot of information on that, where it's like it was rented in Seattle, Washington. Why is it coming here? Oh, I'm going to Minneapolis to see my auntie for a day, and then I'm going to turn around and drive back to Seattle. All right. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
So a lot of them are heading from west to east, or is it?
I think don't quote me on this, but I think if they're heading east, it's drugs. West is cash.
Interesting.
But it could be flip flops, so don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's just.
I did the drug interdiction thing for a little while, but we haven't done it for quite a while, so don't quote me on that. But it's like kind of one or the other.
And do you, as a K-9 unit, do you assist in Fargo and like Moorhead a lot too? Then
yep, we'll go all over the county.
Okay.
So yeah, we get a decent amount of work.
So when you're making busts like that, they go to the Fargo jail.
Yeah, the Cass County jail.
Cass County jail,
which is in Fargo. Yeah. Yes.
And so then they do like they go through our judicial system for the case. Then when they get prosecuted against, or how does that work?
It depends what level of offense it is.
Okay.
So if it's a first offense, well, I guess it would still be a state charge. But yeah, so we arrest them in West Fargo for second offense. We'll say meth. Possession of meth. So that'll go through Cass County state's attorneys.
Okay.
You guys have changed any protocols with domestics? Like, because domestics are like the number one call to, for a shootout or whatnot. Are you guys like extra cautious when you get called for domestics?
We're always cautious, but if we can get the two parties separated as quickly as possible, that's ideally what we want. So like we won't just go storming into apartments or houses, even if we hear a lot of commotion, whatever, we'll do our best to try and separate them. And we use phone calls a lot. That sometimes can de-escalate a lot of situations versus us just going and start banging on doors.
Were you working when Officer Mosier, or like were you a police officer when that happened?
I was, yeah. I wasn't working that night though.
Okay. Can you tell us like what exactly happened that night?
With Mosier?
Yeah. I didn't hear a whole lot of details from it.
Yeah. So, and I'm probably gonna miss a few details on it, but yeah, it started out as a domestic situation, and
was it a dude and a wife, or?
Yeah, and I think the son was there too, but the wife and son were able to get out. I don't know if, because 9 times out of 10 that happens in West Fargo. We're kicking out of there. We're he's by himself. Great. Whatever you're gonna do inside your house, do in your house. As long as, he doesn't have any hostages, whatever. But obviously there was something that night that kept those Fargo officers on scene. So I don't know if he started wrapping off rounds out the windows or what. But from what I heard, what happened is Mosier, was behind a garage and ducked his head out. And I don't even remember the shithead's name, but he's not even worth, repeating. The shithead saw him, And Mosier went back behind the garage and then poked out in the same spot, and that's when he got shot. Which it actually went through the corner of the garage into Mosier.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened to the dude. What happened to that guy? They take him out?
I don't know if SWAT ended up taking him out or if he took himself out. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was. It was like I could be wrong, but I want to say it was a suicide.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I really can't remember on that.
When you go through like obviously, especially when you have to bring the dog out, and obviously the dog barks and is getting ready to do its thing, and your adrenaline's pumping, I'm sure. How do you like go back and you're done with your shift? Do you go and decompress, or do you just go pass out, or how does that work?
I sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
That's
what I was gonna say.
I go home and I sleep like a baby. Especially now moving back to this night shift, I am tired by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, even since I've been back on night shift, we've had a couple of interesting calls because I've been on Sergeant FTO or whatever. So another sergeant rides along with me and Jazz, breathing in his ear. And I mean, we've actually had some fairly interesting calls where now that other sergeant was like, Brock, you're good to go whenever you go back to work. Because like I've dealt with enough over the last 4 or 5 shifts that I've had. So like one was lady called in, said that that her boyfriend told her that some dude tried shooting at her outside of one of our apartment complexes. She never saw a gun. She never saw nothing or whatever. But she wanted us to go kick in this guy's door and all that. But it's like, okay, well, until we know otherwise, we need to treat this like this guy pointed a gun at her like he was going to shoot her. So, we set up an arrest team and quick reaction, whatever, and, a plan, a perimeter, all that stuff that I got to be a part of and have some input on. And, got through that. Turns out guy never did point a gun at her. There was no gun located, whatever, it all well ends well, right? So, but got to kind of go through that process of that. Then we had another guy on my last shift where it was kind of like that Luigi guy that killed that CEO or whatever. Like, he was sending a lot of very threatening emails to his ex-employer. And so, instead of
this is recently, right?
Yeah.
I know who that is.
That's not name drop, because I don't know if I'm even saying
I won't name drop, but I was somebody had messaged me and be like, hey, what's going on with so and so? And I was like, I didn't even know about it. And then I went on there and looked, and I saw all the videos that he's posted. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Saw the videos, saw the screenshots that he was taking, and I was like, what happened? Like, what is the deal here? Like, he completely just like.
Yeah.
So what you guys have to do?
Well, so it kind of started with the day shift or whatever. And then, they pass it on to us or whatever. And we're like, okay, well.
Did the employer report it?
I think we got like
multiple
16 calls on that guy for like welfare checks throughout the day and then into the night. Yeah. So the company hired an attorney or whatever, and the attorney hired some guy to like kind of watch him. So when the guy left his house at, I think it was like, it doesn't matter what time, but it was sometime in the night. He called us, and then we, had to start creating a plan because we were either we just didn't want it to end up back in his driveway, but we needed to, get this guy on a minimum of mental health hold, right? So, without giving up too much information, we got enough guys around the area when he was on his way back to the house, got a traffic stop. He gave up willfully. And then, I still got to use my dog because we didn't know if there's anybody else in the vehicle. So I send Jazz into the vehicle, comes, checks it, makes sure nobody else is in there, comes back out to me. So I'm getting a lot more fun stuff at night.
Yeah, I bet.
A little more dangerous, but I am having fun.
That's where all the action is, huh?
Yeah, and I like the group of people that I work with. They're young, but they're hungry, and that's exciting to work with.
And West Fargo, you guys do pursuits, right? Like I know Fargo, they don't pursue, right?
We pit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. You just had, I think you guys just had one just last night or the night before.
Like every night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. We figured that implementing this pit maneuver would travel around town, which I'm sure it still has, but like everybody's like, I bet I can get away from them.
Yeah.
And then, we're repping those Ford Explorer EcoBoosts. Those things got some kick to them. So not a whole lot of people are getting away.
Yeah.
That's crazy that people even get into pursuits around here. It's nuts.
Especially in the snow. Like,
Yeah.
where are you going to go?
Yeah, if you don't get pitted, you're gonna spin out on your own.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean the whole reasoning behind implementing this pit is to get pursuits done fast.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back when I was on patrol on night shift, many years ago, I mean, we would chase until the wheels fall off, which really isn't the safest thing to do. I mean,
Right.
I chased a vehicle once from like the old Brutus brick house, obviously on 32nd Avenue in West Fargo, all the way up to like north of NDSU.
Dang it.
And like through town.
I was gonna say that's all through town.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
There's not a good way to get over there other than through town.
We don't get to do that kind of stuff anymore. But yeah, it's like with the pit, like it needs to be done.
So if someone's in West Fargo that you guys start a pursuit and they end up driving into Fargo or into Moorhead, do you guys continue to pursue there? Do you have to pull off? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just call it into.
It stops at Fargo.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we'll let Fargo know, but we're not going to go blowing up their whole city.
Right.
So if they drive into Fargo, you guys have to immediately stop. And if they're not there, the guy just see you.
So kind of what we assume now is, if somebody gets into a pursuit and they're already heading, eastbound on Main Avenue, it's like it's a race to Fargo. It's like you're either going to get the pit in really, really fast or the guy's just going to get into Fargo, and so be it.
Oh, wow.
That's why they run.
Yeah.
But I mean, that vehicle is posted all over social media, all within the law enforcement agencies in town. And then we got the flock cameras now.
What's that?
Is that the one that's on the intersections?
Some of them are, but I mean, it can kind of like, it doesn't track a vehicle, but it can tell you the last time this license plate has been seen and where.
Nice.
So like there is one right over on 13th and what even is this road called again? I don't even know.
Fletcher?
Yeah.
Fletcher Drive?
Yeah.
Beckner.
That came out like a year ago, that system. I saw that because I sent it to you guys. It's just like they'll put them anywhere, like you said, but it reads license plates as you pass by it, and
Oh wow!
it gives you a bunch of information.
So it's like the stoplight cams.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I got hit by one of those one time in California. That sucks because you don't even know you get hit by it, and then all of a sudden you get a ticket in the mail.
We don't have those here though.
Yeah,
That would
that
be
just
crazy.
sucks.
Yeah, the vlog is just like, vehicle was seen going east on Main over by University. Whatever,
Man, it's getting so much more difficult to commit crime and not get caught. I don't know why people are like, technology has just taken it to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
You've got to be strung out to think you can get away with stuff.
That's
these days.
now I'm starting to wonder if I'm talking too much.
Yeah. And if there's anything that comes to mind, bro, you like after the fact, just let me know. We're actually going to start releasing episodes on Mondays. Now I don't know if we talked to you about it yet, Cody, but we're going to release them on Mondays at 10 a.m. So it gives us more time to do the editing process. But if there's anything that's got to be cut out, bro, you just let me know and I cut it.
Oh no, I was just teasing.
Let's say, the people that are falling for these things or doing these crimes are usually people that are not in the right state of mind, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Would you say, the Fargo community's probably got quite a bit more residents, I would assume, right?
Fargo versus West Fargo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would you say that they have a lot more crime over there?
Yeah. I mean, just the bigger population, the more opportunities of crime, right?
I might be biased, but it seems like West Fargo's a lot nicer than Fargo.
depends on what part of Fargo you're in, I guess, dude.
West Fargo has a pretty good ghetto side to it.
Yeah.
Is it? Where?
Yeah. Like,
North.
yeah, just
So
north.
between like 13th Avenue and Main.
Yeah.
You're thinking
The north side of West Fargo.
They got like,
A
or
little
they
more
used to
apartments.
have some
Yeah,
projects.
that's true. Yeah. I guess I wasn't really considering that like West Fargo, but I suppose it would be.
they had one of the only drive-through liquor stores in Fargo.
Yeah.
Oh, in
They
North
still
Dakota.
have that.
Nah, I don't
No?
think so. I don't think you can drive through. Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right on Main and Center there.
See.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
like I tell everybody, there's really no such thing as a nice, safe neighborhood anymore.
right,
I mean,
right.
there's opportunity for crime anywhere you go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of riffraff here now.
Yeah, and every neighborhood's gonna have that one guy in there that could one day just go off. Because I mean, there's been several times where it's like this guy pointed a gun at his wife and then barricaded himself in his closet in one of the nicer, developments in West Fargo. And I was like, that's crazy. Like an area that we never go.
Yeah.
So it's like
My neighbors.
it's like
are
at any
meth
given
addicts.
moment, like something like that can go off where
Yeah. I live right next door to a house full of meth heads, bro. They got all kinds of traffic. They've been raided. One time my son was walking to school and he called us from the bus stop and he's like, there was like a whole bunch of like SWAT team guys running up to the neighbor's house with guns, and I just was walking down the sidewalk and they just came running past him up to the neighbor's house, bro. He's like, check the ring cam, it was crazy. And we're just like, what the hell? So I mean, yeah, it's just everywhere, bro. There's no escaping it anymore, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So does the SWAT team have any dogs attached to them?
No, don't. I would love to incorporate our dogs.
Why
with
is
some
that?
of their training? I don't know. It's just I don't think it's been a practice of theirs to really ever use their dogs. I mean, they have a ton of technology too that can, I don't want to say replace a dog, but it's safer. They
Sure.
if they got a robot that gets smashed,
Sure.
it's better than a dog. Yeah. So like I understand, why they do some things the way that they do, but I also like, I'm not going to speak to something I don't really know anything about. And that's the SWAT team and their training.
Yep.
Like I said, the technology that they have, I know is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Like they got stuff that can just rip off a wall.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's cool. And then they can send in, they got drones, they got RC cars, robots, all sorts of different things for all different situations. So, would I love to get Jazz and do some SWAT hits? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be crazy.
I'm not going to cause rifts there. If they want me, they know a couple of their guys know where to find me.
Yeah. With like technology too, like AI and all that stuff coming into play, if somebody damages one of these robots or something, do they consider that like an assault on a police officer like they do with a dog?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like AI, that you can communicate now. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Now you also have to pay us $100,000 too. So
Yeah. And the SWAT team here locally, there's only one SWAT team between the three.
Red River Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, between 5 agencies. So
5.
it'd be Fargo, West Fargo, Moorhead, Clay County, Cass County. Actually, 6, NDSU as well.
Oh wow.
I believe NDSU still has members.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So those guys stay pretty busy then.
I don't know how many call outs they average per year.
Yeah.
Those guys, I seen 3 of them. They pulled up right behind me when I was parked. I don't know if I've told this story on here, but I thought I was about to get pulled over, and I pulled over, and I was going to work again, and I'm right outside the house I was about to work on, and the 3 dudes just get out of the car. They didn't put their lights on or anything, but they were right behind me. I was like, are these guys about to like beat me up or something? Like, what is this? And they're 3 guys about John's size. And I was like, do I get out of the car or what should I do? They didn't put their lights on to pull me over or anything. And I get out finally, and they just walk up to this house right next to me. And I was like, oh God, thank goodness. I was like, I didn't do anything bad, but
being a black man in America.
Like, one of the dudes was a big black dude too. I was like, I'm not trying to fight you
But
guys.
you know that black cops aren't the same as regular black people, bro.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they're different.
They get treated like they're white cops.
Exactly. I get treated like I'm a white guy too, so
Yeah,
I'm okay with
that makes sense.
I'm all right.
Sure.
More Middle Eastern, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what they think when they don't know me.
Dude, have you guys ever seen those videos of the military working dogs? They'll like strap them to their vests. They'll
Oh, yeah,
actually
I've
jump
seen
out of
that.
planes and stuff with them when they hit the ground.
The people
they'll let 'em
will?
go. Yeah. they'll strap them to their chest and the dogs are just hanging there.
Yeah.
I even seen a video there was one where they were in the helicopter. They flew really low to the ground, and then they had a decoy running. They let the dog jump out of the helicopter, and the dog took off like a missile, went and tackled them.
That's so bad.
And then the helicopter went closer, and the dude jumped out and apprehended the decoy.
That's so cool.
So
That's so cool. I could only imagine the feeling a dog would have just jumping out of a plane.
they have like goggles. They have like goggles and stuff when they jump too. Like it's super cool.
Yeah.
Imagine the training those dogs have to go through. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Jazz is like, I want to join the military, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, it was cool because so like in December, and I mean we weren't working in the military, but in December we go down to see our friends at K-9 Defense every year, where we kind of model all of our bite work and stuff after. And the Wednesday of that week, they had like what is called like inner agency training or whatever, right? So I mean, they had Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, Mesa, Maricopa County dogs, so big agencies, lots of population. They brought us all to Gilbert, where they had like this huge state-of-the-art like training facility, like high rise, like place where fire department can practice and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So like, I mean, very cool scenarios, and like each dog got 5 scenarios, going in groups with these other dogs or whatever. And honestly, Jazz kept right up with them. Jazz looked just as good as a lot of those other dogs.
That's cool.
So I was very, very happy. And I wasn't with our other dogs, but they all said that they actually did pretty well too. So I was happy to report that back.
That's cool.
So there's something in our training that we're doing well.
Nice.
Like that's pretty much what we ask of our dogs. Like me personally, I don't care if we have the hardest biting dogs in the area. I just want our dogs to do what we ask them to do. Mm-hmm. So, and that day they proved that whatever we asked them to do, they went and did it. So I was happy.
As long as your dog's got your back too.
Yeah, essentially. Well, just that it doesn't shy away, because obviously that's a liability. Because I wouldn't be able to live with myself is because of one of Jazz's if Jazz had a deficiency, that got me or one of my partners hurt.
Right.
I could handle getting hurt. Like, all right, that's on me. But if because of Jazz's deficiency, one of my partners got hurt, I ain't gonna be able to live with myself on that one.
And it's a dope comparison too, because like you said, in these bigger cities where they have a huge population, these dogs their work is constant. You know what I mean?
Some of those
so
dogs are getting 10, 12 bites a year.
Yeah. So the fact that your dogs are comparable is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Good job, man. Way to train.
We'll try.
Oh yeah. Got anything else you want to add, guys? Good to go.
Do you have I know you've told us quite a few stories already. Do you have what's your craziest experience so far? And how long have you been in the
law
police?
enforcement?
Yeah, law enforcement.
So I've been in for, it'll be 10 years in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So a little over 9. Craziest story. God, can you break that down a little bit?
I honestly couldn't.
What's one of your most memorable situations or incidents you've been in that you're just like, yeah, that was a wild one?
Okay, so it was actually, I thought I was going to get my first bite with Brutus.
Okay.
So we're at one of the apartment complexes in West Fargo. Me and my partner get called to just a welfare check of a guy, and don't really think nothing of it. Like, so like the what dispatch relayed to us was that this guy's being manipulated by this lady, and this lady's making him smoke meth with her. Like, all right, we'll go. And there's like the guy's ex-wife.
I hate when
was
that
calling
happens.
it.
It happens all the time, dude.
It's like, oh man. So, anyways, go up there, knock on the door. Both the guy and the girl answer, and like, everything's fine or whatever. It's like, all right, take care, Brian. I remember the guy's name's Brian. And so we're like, okay, cool. So we leave, go back downstairs, and I see that for whatever reason, dispatch didn't let us know that this Brian had some serious felony warrants out of Minnesota. Full extradition. So we're like, oh, shit. It's like, all right, I guess we're going to have to go back up there, but this time we're going to want about 4 more officers. He's a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
And so we kind of wait for, guys to clear up and come meet us over there. We go back upstairs, knock on the door again. And instead of opening the door this time, we just hear, "Who is it?" It's like, "Hey, West Fargo police, just open the door, Brian." Knock again or whatever. And then I can just kind of hear the female going like, "Please don't do it. Please don't do it." So I was like, "Oh shit." And then we hear like the lock unlatch. So I go to start to at least unholster my gun, because I don't know what he's about to open the door to us. And he's got a bat, swung over his shoulder, and like kind of backs up. And so I, draw down on him, tell him to drop the bat. And then, I was like, it's an apartment complex, so there's a hallway. And he ducks off with the bat and barricades himself in the bathroom. Like, okay, well, technically he just, threatened assault on a police officer. He's got full extradition felony warrants, and now he's barricaded. Dog bite all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, turned to my sergeant at the time, and I was like, "See if he'll come out peacefully, but I'm going to get Brutus down 3 flights of stairs." So, yeah, we'll run down and grab him or whatever. And there was no question of drive with Brutus. He had a bark that you could hear a block away or whatever. And so, I'm making my announcements to the guy. I say, "We're going to kick that door in, and the dog's coming." And the guy's taking the baseball bat and like bashing the door. So it's even making Brutus even more pissed off. It's like, I don't even have to do anything here besides just let go of this leash once our officers can get this door kicked open. So yeah, they get it kicked open, and, I send Brutus in, it's another left-hand turn into the bathroom. And I just see Brutus is like the Tasmanian devil. Like, I see him get in there and like look up, like where the guy is right there, but he just can't get his feet underneath him. I hear the bat drop, and then I hear the guy jump into like the tub and pull the curtain. We're like, "I give up, I give up." Like, he started like crying. And so like, because I heard that, I had to go and I had to run, get to Brutus before Brutus could get to this guy, grab him or whatever. And then my partners pulled him out or whatever. And then he starts fighting with him again. So I put Brutus's head right up against this guy's like skull, and Brutus is like,
"No way!"
Yeah.
Oh.
I said, "Quit fucking around, or he will bite you." And he's like, "Okay," because you could probably feel the slobber on his cheek. But like I said, he was a big guy, and he continued to fight with 2 officers that were even smaller than me. So like, even at that time, I probably had just not to do it on his face, but justification to, throw him on like, an arm or a shoulder.
Right.
But
like holding him
my partners kind of had both hands or whatever, but he was still squirming. So that's why I was just like, knock it off.
So was he all like methed out when you got there then, or what? All right, what was the call all about initially then? That
the guy's ex-wife, apparently too wanted to turn him in for his warrants, but wanted a welfare check first. But for whatever reason, the whole warrant thing didn't get relayed to us.
Yeah.
So
she was just trying to find an excuse to get you guys there or something.
Yeah, and shit, people do that all the time. Okay. And warrants are warrants. It's like, it's a shall arrest thing. So, excuse me, if somebody calls in that their ex-boyfriend's got warrants and they're at this location right now, it's like, all right, I guess we'll go pick him up if he's there. But if it's a little misdemeanor warrant, like, we'll still go and see if the jail will take him or whatever. But if it's a good felony warrant, like, yeah, we want to get that out of our town.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Good stuff, man.
Awesome.
Well, Brock, I appreciate you coming on, bro, and giving us some of your time. I know you're a busy guy and got a little family going on, so thanks for sharing. We like getting the local officers and stuff in police departments on here to kind of share the stories with everything that's gone on. Like Cody has said before, with against all of you guys, we like to show what kind of a community of police departments we have here and the work that everyone does. So cool that we got to get a K-9 unit guy on too and talk some stuff, and glad we know you and you're one of the good guys, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys actually taking the time to actually want to talk to me. Like I said, I don't think I'm that interesting.
No, yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, I'll when I edit it, I'll put like some special effects and everything. We'll make it good.
So maybe some explosions in the background.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, thanks again for coming on, brother. We appreciate you.
guys.
Everybody
Appreciate
else, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the podcast. Talk good, talk bad, doesn't really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.